In the corners of a small library tucked away in an old city street, Amir worked as a librarian, a young man who loved books more than anything else. He didn't see the library as just a workplace. It was a world of stories and dreams where he escaped every day. Among the bookshelves, he often noticed a girl who visited regularly. She would sit in her favorite corner, lose herself in the pages of a book for hours, and then leave without buying anything. He didn't know her name, but he had memorized her features well. Her long black hair, her deep eyes that lit up while reading, and the soft smile that graced her lips whenever she found a passage she liked. He wished he had the courage to talk to her, but he feared disturbing her or ruining her special moments with the books. One day, he noticed her searching for a book but failing to find it. She stood before the shelf, scanning desperately, then quietly sat down as if giving up. He couldn't hold back any longer. He grabbed the book she was looking for and walked over to her. Placing it in front of her, he smiled and said, "I believe this is the book you were looking for." She lifted her head in surprise, then smiled warmly and asked, "Thank you. But how did you know?" His face flushed slightly as he replied, "I always see you reading philosophical books, so I guessed this might be the one you wanted." She laughed softly, saying, "It seems you're quite skilled at analyzing readers." From that moment on, she was no longer just a silent visitor. Every time she came, they would talk about books, exchange recommendations, and share thoughts. He discovered that her name was Rose and that she adored novels that explored deep questions about life and existence. He found himself eagerly waiting for her visits, and the library felt warmer whenever she was there. But one day, she didn't come. A day passed, then another, then an entire week. Amir felt an unfamiliar emptiness. He kept looking at the table where she used to sit, wondering where she had gone. On the seventh day, as he was placing some books back on the shelves, he heard a familiar voice behind him. "Did you save my spot for me?" He turned around quickly, his heart pounding. Rose stood there, smiling as if she had never been away. A wave of relief and happiness washed over him, but he kept his composure and teased, "I thought you abandoned books." She laughed, waving a new book in her hand. "Impossible! Books are my world, and this library is my favorite place." He looked at her for a moment before saying softly, "I'm glad you're back." She settled into her usual corner, flipping through the pages of her book, while Amir watched her with a quiet smile, realizing that this wasn't just a coincidence, but the beginning of a beautiful story yet to be written.